and welcome to another episode of Banking on Information. Today, my guest is Cyrus Taheri, who is Chief Growth Officer at TrueNorth. Welcome to the podcast, Cyrus.
Thank you for having me, Rutger. How you doing?
Great. Glad that you're here. We are going to start with that all-important question, which is why, Cyrus, do you do what you do?
It's a great question. And first of all, thank you for having me. I'm a fan of the podcast, and I like how it's simple, but very, very deeply informative. So it's a pretty cool format. So from my side, I'm a career consultant, and I grew up in big organizations, big companies, big machines inside those companies. And what I learned is that about 6 years back, I stepped out of what I was doing because I think once you reach a certain type of organization size, you may lose a little bit of the meaning of why you're doing things. And so I'm usually tend to gravitate with companies that have certain type of purpose, certain type of impact. You know, once you're in the big org, sometimes you're just doing things like you're running in the hamster wheel and you don't know sometimes where you're doing things, but you have to do it. Today, I'm part of TrueNorth, which is a boutique consultancy. We're a small organization, but I believe, drive a lot of impact.
Yeah.
And everything we do, we see it translated either in a customers being able to serve their customers better. You can see the impact very, very quickly. And also, we work with small organizations that are trying to scale and be massively influential growth. And so you can see how you're setting up seeds and helping them or guiding them through their decisions around technology. But then fast forward a year or two, and then you can see what they became. And so impact for me is very important. Purpose is very important. We work with the smallest bank in America.
Yeah.
So this is sub $5 million asset bank. It's probably my favorite customer. And it has nothing to do with, it's not about revenue, and it's about the story. Right? He's the 100-year-old bank that was founded by the grandfather. Now he's driving it, but he sees technology as the sustainable way forward. How he's going to compete with the big brands? How's he going to compete with the big banks? And the only way, the level setter there is technology, right?
Yeah.
And so there we can come in very light and careful, but we're able to help them make some decisions in terms of investment, rationalize some other processes. And then hopefully fast forward a couple of years, we're going to see the story no longer maybe the smallest bank, but maybe the coolest bank.
Yeah.
So for me, again, that's kind of what drives me every day is there a purpose? And there is a cultural alignment usually with our clients. Our clients like to help their customers. They're kind of service first type organizations. And so that whole thing makes it every day really cool to work in TrueNorth. So I'm very excited to where I landed, and I'm able to do some of the things that I like to do on a daily basis.
So you like to help people get things done, solve problems that really serve a purpose, that really make an impact. And it's not just moving boxes around, but actually making impact and helping people do that. I think that is a great why. Now, what do you do at TrueNorth? What typically do you help solve for your customers?
So in TrueNorth, we started our career in the fintech world. We were originally part of Lending Club, and we were the technology delivery team inside that. We were divested into what became TrueNorth, and Lending Club became our first client. It was early days, and now Lending Club is a massive multi-billion-dollar organization. They bought a bank themselves, right? And so we also worked with the brands like Upgrade and many other big lenders. And when you start getting into that world, that's a highly innovative world. A lot of focus on customer experience, trying to take the friction out of the acquisition. One thing led to another, and TrueNorth became involved with launching neobanks in the United States. That was less about building, more about stitching or assembling the world of ecosystem to launch faster into the market. So we work in some of those neobanks. And today we still help with a lot of fintechs build and accelerate their technology launches and get into market. But what we're doing today is because we know the world of fintechs, we have a lot of access to new technologies and how they were applied to this disruptor world. We want to bring the disruption to banks, right? We want banks to be able to compete. And today, TrueNorth is working quite closely with community banks and credit unions, right? Trying to arm those banks and credit unions to be able to grow. And a lot of these, again, it goes down to purpose, right? The funny story is community banks and credit unions care about either their members or their communities, and they serve relationships and they want to extend those relationships, and they're using technology to be able to compete with whatever it is, better pricing, rates, reach, whatever it is the others have. So again, it aligns to the whole purpose idea, and that's what we do today. We're trying to bring the fintech and the next generation technologies carefully into banks. We also don't bring it right away. We try to do it in bite sizes and let them evolve as they take in technology, because it's not one and done, right? So that's what we do today.
So you're bringing the fintech mentality and the fintech experience to banks and credit unions and help them step into that. Because sometimes there can be a bit of a cultural misalignment between more traditional financial institutions and fintechs. Fintechs sometimes have this sort of idea of like, go fast and break things. But obviously, you've learned a lot over the years, and you bring all that from the fintech industry to banks and credit unions to be able to help them step into that and use technology more like they were a fintech.
That's right. So you said it great, right? What TrueNorth brings to the table to these banks is 120 plus modernization programs, right? A bunch of builds. And then with that came a lot of mistakes we've seen, a lot of best practices we gather, a lot of skills that are needed, and some assets that help you accelerate. So we bring a lot of the institutional experience, trying to bring it to banks, trying to educate. A lot of the work we do initially at the forefront is education, is ensuring that they understand the world of fintech. They also get maybe the confusion and the overload of logos and options that are out there, buzzwords, AI, blockchain, right? So we do a lot of education, and then how do you carefully take those in and then make sure that those actually serve a particular purpose within your bank and is driving the value that you want, whether it is on the revenue side or optimization side, whichever side you want.
Now, when you talk to your customers and they describe how they got value from working with TrueNorth, what do they typically say?
Our philosophy tends to be about showing value quickly. So even if you hire TrueNorth for a multi-year engagement, we break it down in 3 months MVP. So as a customer of TrueNorth should expect something in 3 months coming out that is tangible and able to be taken to market. So it's actually real, right? The second thing is we break those out every 2 weeks. Our team does demos. So they show you that there's an incremental value at every time. So we're trying for them to see that there is a bit of momentum, and then and everything that we build, we can build on top, right? So we break it into bite sizes, and that also not only put our mind into a very frequent type release or frequent time to market, but it's also going to train a bank into expecting that innovation as they go forward. And they also learn that what you thought originally you wanted to do, maybe after the launch, after 3 months, you get feedback because you're in the market, maybe not exactly what you wanted. And so it allows you to pivot quickly. And that helped them actually win versus staying maybe in a trajectory, especially in this world that is very volatile, be able to actually capitalize on the investments that you make.
I can see that that's very valuable, that it isn't scatters light at the end of the tunnel 3 years from now, but that actually we break it down into manageable pieces, which actually goes back to the fintech roots, right? That's how a lot of fintech ship products. They make sure that they put things out there, test it, and then to your point, you have feedback, and it's kind of like, oh, a little bit more to the left, or we didn't like this feature, we prefer that, and you can still make changes, right? Nothing is completely set in stone. I think that is very valuable that you have a partner like TrueNorth be able to do that with you and get you into that mindset.
Usually that's our value. Obviously, I'm always proud of my people. So I think I describe our TrueNorth guys as the nicest fintech geeks you can find. My job is very easy, right? My job is to expose these individuals to the banks or the CIOs or the CTOs or the CEOs. And then they just fall in love with them. And that's usually a very easy job for me to do because the quality of our individuals are phenomenal. They're really nice people. At the same time, they're phenomenally smart. So I'm a lucky guy.
Now, I like to do this thing called futures thinking, which is we don't know what the future is going to bring, but it's good to think about a possible future. So if you look at the banking industry, and let's look out like 10 years out, so 2035, what does that look like? Can you paint me a picture of what a possible future looks like?
That's a great question that every few weeks or so, our executive team meets in TrueNorth and we check each other's out. Are we doing the right things? Are we investing in the right skills? Are we looking at the right markets? Because everything changes so fast. So we just came out of one today, and we agreed that I think somebody said that every business should become or will become a digital business. I think every business, fast forward X years, is going to become an AI powered business. So no longer are going to be the days that you're going to find, oh, this is an AI startup and this is a normal product. No, they're all going to be AI something, but also intrinsically in the way that we would deliver or anyone manage their business, there's going to be AI helping us deliver faster, better, more productive ways. There's going to be you as a user of a bank, you're going to use copilots or, you're going to have aides that would help you work. So it's AI powered, whether it is not only at the product level, but operational level or at delivery level. So it's going to be very intrinsic and very pervasive within the bank. So or any institution. We don't think it's just banks. And in TrueNorth, that's where we're investing heavily. We're not particularly tied into, hey, you need to have an AI product. What we're trying to do is trying to say the future of the delivery workforce surely looks maybe a little bit different, right? Do we need to use new tools? Do we need to be more productive or push for more productivity so we deliver faster, better, cheaper for our customers? But then also creating models like, I call it an AI factory. Anybody that wants to build an agent can come to TrueNorth, and we have the best practices, the methods, the security levels, and everything that you need to launch an AI agent that's compliant, that works well, that is tested, that is upgradable, that is traceable, et cetera, et cetera. That's the world that we want to play, right? That we're starting to play. We have a couple of proof of concepts there, but I think that's the world of the future.
Well, so AI is going to be everywhere. 10 years from now, we're not going to say, hey, we're an AI company, because everyone uses AI, and it's going to be everywhere in every part of our business. Now, if that's the case, if that possible future comes true, what do we need to do today to get ready for it?
Great question. So before I answer that, I just want to let you know, I read an article, I think it was in the news a few weeks back, and it hit on me, was that every future leader in the next 10 years will be very savvy on AI, or we would expect AI to be part of their journey, right? So this is an impact not only on the workforce and the type of people you will need, right? Because it's going to be very different, but it's also like almost expected. So imagine maybe a new government comes in, a new leader comes in, at the new OCC leader in 10 years or 20 years. That new OCC leader may be coming in and say, well, if you don't have AI, maybe you're more risky to me than not, right? So that whole expectation on leadership, and people think that the same leaders are going to stay, but no, that's not true, right? There's a new blood coming in. That new blood coming in, what I read is that they're going to be expecting a lot of AI and productivity and so forth. So that, to answer your question, right, that a lot of it comes with talent, it comes with culture, and a lot of it is, I think, finding those wedges for you to get comfortable in an organization. We don't think you should use AI by any means anywhere unleashed, right? Crazy. Today, in the day-to-day, I use it for many things. I don't think I'd be able to be productive at all without AI, because I can multiply what I'm able to do. But in a bank that is highly regulated and very carefully, you can identify areas where you and your team become more savvy, more comfortable, and you start learning more about what would that entail in terms of security, what it entails about skills, what it entails of investments. And so I think the people that start getting exposed to it will understand it better, and the people that use it will find the value, whether it's not immediately, will identify it later, than those that don't do it, right? I think when you avoid it, whether it's fear, whether it's denial, whatever it is, I think what's going to happen is going to create a gap, not only in your organization in the ability to win, but I think it's going to create a gap in your ability, in your people, attracting the talent that you need, and being able to create a culture over time that makes you succeed. I think getting your hands dirty to a certain extent, right? We're going to start potential POC with one of our banks, where we're inviting the OCC. We want them to go through and check what we're doing on the AI point of view, just because if you think about it, the more transparent you are, and the more, the more controlled environment you have it, then the better, right? And I think it would be seen with good eyes, and the good and the bad will come out quickly and be fixed, versus not doing it, then you're still far behind, right?
So AI is here, and it's only going to be more around in the future. So everyone needs to get involved, needs to get comfortable with it. And especially younger generations and future generations will need to know how to deal with it. I think that's probably a good point to wrap this up. Thank you very much, Cyrus, for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
And until next time, choose to be curious.